Georgia on the road, night game, SEC opponent, given us trouble in the past. There's no way we could cover a massive number at Kroger Field, is there? Let's talk about it today on the Locked On Bulldogs podcast.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Locked On Bulldogs. Thanks for making us your first listen of the day. He is Daniel. I am Clint. Together, we are Locked On Bulldogs, part of Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you, everydayers, for being here. Today's episode brought to you by Ultimate GM. Ultimate College Football Head Coach is today's sponsor. They're fantastic. $100% free boost. Use promo code Locked On CFB when you make the account. Daniel, we teased it at the opening, but we go on the road in the SEC at night. And we are favored by just a
24.5 points.
Started at 21 points and just kept all the way up to 24 points now. 24 points is the spread. We're going to give you a breakdown of that Georgia game. We're going to give you some locks maybe in that. We're going to give you some leans maybe in that game that you can bet on. And then second and third segment, we're going to do the same thing with other games around college football, as well as maybe spice in some intel for you. We're going to come back the next day, tomorrow.
Yeah.
You have a little treat for the folks.
We got a special guest on tomorrow. We got a little Kentucky guest on. We're gonna do a little crossover, Locked On Kentucky, and looking forward to it. Looking forward to talking about Brock Vandagriff. You know how much we like to do it, and so we're just gonna see. I'm just gonna say the name Brock Vandagriff, and then I'm gonna sit quietly and listen and see what comes back.
You tell me why you're confident in your quarterback.
You say the things that Kirby Smart adamantly refused to say in his press conference. Like,
go ahead.
Just
go ahead.
Nope. I choose not to speak
that
about.
3 for 10 stat, by the way. I think one of the passes that was 3 for 10 for 30 yards was something like half the yards in one pass, or something, or over 20 yards in one pass.
Yeah. It was
just making sure.
Any 3 for 10 for 30. That's a bad.
Just to make it
bad situation.
Little salt in the wound.
Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this game. I've been thinking about this game a lot today, honestly, and I didn't know the spread. I had not looked at the betting lines yet. I don't like to look at them. I usually will look at the early lines and see if there's anything that stands out, catches my eye, see if there's anything I want to bet on early in the week. But I typically don't like to look at things. I like to try to figure out in my head where I'm at on a game and then check the lines and see, that's how I kind of make my wagers. By the way, how are we doing on locks, Clint? Are we
move on? It's week 3. Daniel, first week. It's been abject chaos in college football just for a hot minute.
But last week I made money, just so we're clear. I did make money. I got it on the mend, and we're here for you. We're gonna get through this thing together.
I'm strolling back. Y'all.
We're gonna get through this thing together.
Week 2 was not.
As I went through this game in my head, here's what I thought.
Okay,
I thought there is no way that Kentucky scores more than 10 points in this game. I'm talking about 0.000% chance that Kentucky scores more than 10 points in this game.
I put the ceiling.
Any lies detected so far?
I put the ceiling at 9, so I'm with you.
And then I moved to the other side of the ball, and I thought, there is no way that Georgia scores more than 35 points in this game.
There's what this man is doing.
I just don't see it. This is the thought I'm having as I'm driving around town.
He hasn't seen the line.
No way that Georgia scores more than 35 points. I think Kentucky's going to want to run the ball because, spoiler alert, it's the only thing they can do.
Well, they wanted to pass, and then they watched Brock Vandagriff step back and try to do a drop back and a read, and then they said, let's take out half the playbook.
Brock Vandagriff's going to run a lot in this game. He is going to run a lot in this game.
Designed runs, not just scramble.
You're going to see Barry and Brown on an end around at least 5 or 6 times. You're going to see them try to establish the run game. Yeah. Some of the stats were a little bit misleading against South Carolina. They actually did run the ball with a little bit of effectiveness at times in that game. Got some things called back for penalties. You know Kentucky's going to try to run the ball.
Yeah.
You know that they're going to try to slow the game down. You know that they're going to try to limit possessions. And I think their defense is going to be salty. I think they're going to get a few stops on this Georgia team. Maybe they'll come early when, Georgia's figuring things out, like at the Clemson game. Maybe the stops will come late after the game is well in hand and Georgia is, not as sharp offensively. They're going to get some stops. I don't see Georgia scoring more than 35 points in this game. I just don't see it being that style of game. Oh, and the weather, Clint.
Add that to it.
It's going to be a torrential downpour in Lexington, Kentucky on Saturday night. And so all of that together, I said there's no way they can score more. I thought the over-under in this game was going to be around 50, and I was going to hammer the under.
What's that line, Daniel?
It's 45.5. And so here's the thing.
Uh-oh.
At first I saw it and I said, well, crap, Vegas has got me. I can't bet on this game. I don't know. But then I thought, nope. Think about what I just said. I said there's no way Kentucky scores more than 10. And there's no way Georgia scores more than 35. That's 45 points. My worst case scenario, I still win this bet. And I bet the game is going to be more like 28-6, which I win this bet handily.
Easily.
So give me the under 45.5. I'm going to lock it up in this game. I think it is the best play you can make in this game for all the reasons I've discussed.
Daniel articulated well all the reasons. You can talk about subjective, objective, the feel of this game. I'm just going to give you a couple case in points. Kirby Smart doesn't like playing with his food. He doesn't care about style points. Stop me if you've heard me say this Kentucky week, okay? Remember the last time Kentucky had a non-quarterback playing quarterback for them, Daniel?
You mean Will Levis?
Well,
who was then drafted in the first round and is the savior of the Tennessee Titans where I live?
That's on you, Titans.
Oh,
that's
no.
You.
Oh, no.
Put the mayo in. No, I'm talking about Bowden Jr., wide receiver, coming on in. He was 2 for 15, 17 yards, didn't score a single point in the game. Georgia scored 21 points.
2 for 15 for 17 yards. He didn't even play quarterback. Brock Vandegrift was 3 for 10 for 30.
Yeah. Okay.
He's a scholarship quarterback. It's not great.
Well, what about Gatewood? Gatewood comes in for Kentucky. 3 to 14. Daniel? 3 to 14. Okay.
These are Kentucky Georgia scores.
These are the Kentucky guys. Hammer the under. The weather is there. We have a stable of running backs. We've already seen Kirby doesn't care for I keep saying nothing bothers him. Post game presser where you talk about Texas scored 50. He's gonna be like, okay, did they win? They won? Great. Okay, did we win? We won? Great. But and he truly doesn't lose sleep at night over it. Guys, lock up the under. Daniel and I are in unison on this. Don't do the spread. 24 points, too many daggum points.
I definitely see a scenario where Georgia does not cover the spread. But I don't see a scenario where we're over 45.5 points. And so we will both take the under. We will be back. We got lots more locks to give out right after these. But first, I want to talk about Ultimate College Football Head Coach. It's this amazing game. It's a simulation. You get to step in the shoes of Kirby Smart and lead the Georgia Bulldogs to glory. I mean, from recruiting players to hiring the coaching staff, overseeing training camps, handling who gets a scholarship, who's a walk-on. You control every crucial detail of the game. It's all in your hands. And you call the plays on offense, shape the future and legacy of your program. Ultimate College Football Head Coach is completely free. It has no ads, and it is 100% playable offline. You can play on the go as much as you want, whenever and wherever you want. And of course, we have a special offer for Locked On Bulldogs fans. Use the promo code Locked On CFB. That's Locked On CFB in all caps inside the game store to receive a free boost to your program. Make sure to take advantage of this perk as it will get your team off to a strong start. To download the game, just visit ultimate-cfb.com, ultimate-cfb.com, or look it up in the App Store. Ultimate College Football Head Coach. Begin your coaching legacy today. But that's not all, Clint. We should also tell the people about Game Time, right? There's a chance you're trying to go out to Kroger Field. Is there not? I mean, there's a chance I'm headed out to Kroger Field. I'll be honest with you, it's still up in the air at this point. Here's what I know for sure. I don't currently have a ticket, and the game is a mere couple days away. Am I stressed about the fact that I don't have a ticket? Am I concerned about the fact that I don't have a ticket? No, because I have the Game Time app. We use Game Time. We have used it before. We use it all the time. Game Time is the best place to go to get the best deals on whatever tickets you need. If it's a last-minute deal, if it is a hard-to-find ticket, you get to view from your seat. You get the all-in pricing. You get everything that you need. It shows you exactly what you're going to get, and it has the lowest price guaranteed, or Game Time will credit 110% of the difference to your account. So if you find a lower price somewhere else, and spoiler alert, you will not, because Game Time doesn't want to give you money. And so they're just going to give you the lowest price ticket that you can get. If you find a lower price ticket, they'll credit 110% of the difference to your account. So take the guesswork out of buying game tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. That's code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. What time is it? Game time. Locks, Clint. It's time for locks. You're muted, but you just unmute it. No, he's back.
Don't worry about it.
We're all fine.
We're all fine. We have locks here, Daniel. Why don't you start off, people? We got 4 with one possibility. We have 4 each and another log that might get thrown on there. Why don't you start the people off? What is your stone cold lock? Give the people just the or do you want to say that for the loyal third segment listeners, Daniel?
Well, here's what I'm going to do, just for the sake of, I don't know when people are listening to this. It is a Wednesday. We're putting the locks out early this week. I don't have a lock on the Thursday game, although I think Arizona State, Texas State will be my favorite game of the weekend. Just to be so much clear, fun. I'm a big Jordan McLeod, Texas State Bobcats fan. So if you don't know that already about me, it's jump on board. I'm very excited about that game. I'm too nervous to lock up Texas State.
Can't do
the points
quite yet.
Although at home against a Power 4 conference team, I really want
they're gonna get up for that.
I'm gonna go Friday night though, and I'm gonna take you to one of the bigger games of the weekend: Arizona, Kansas State. Both of these teams are struggling, Clint. Both of these teams, Kansas State last week on the road at Tulane. You want to talk about another Group of 5 team that looked pretty dang good albeit in a losing effort.
Hold on to that until maybe a little later.
Tulane. We might be circling back to Tulane. Kansas State struggled on the road against Tulane last week.
Yeah.
And Arizona played with their food. They were down at halftime to Northern Arizona. They were only up by 3 points going into the fourth quarter against Northern Arizona. Arizona on the road at Kansas State, catching 7.5 points. Give me Arizona. I like Noah Fafita, the quarterback. I just trust him more than I trust the kid from Kansas State. Listen, Kansas State, I can't remember this kid's name, the quarterback. They ran their quarterback off, and, he had to go settle for playing at Ohio State. Will Howard gets run off because they like this kid. They really like
this their dude.
They got a quarter. He has not had a great start to the year so far, his first 2 games. Now, I think he's going to figure it out. I think he's very talented, and maybe this is the game that he puts it all together. But the offensive attack for Arizona, I just think they're going to be able to score points. Is Kansas State going to be able to really pull away from them? I'm getting 7 and the hook. Give me Arizona on the road plus the 7.5. And I'll take that Friday night action. Give me a little spice to my Friday night.
Shortened week. Daniel, you and I on the same game. That was really unique to me.
Listen, I have felt better about my locks until Clint jumped on board. Just let the record show.
Shortened week. Weird teams in a weird conference with high-powered offenses. That should be. Kansas State is not clicking on all cylinders right now. But if I know anything about these Friday night games, it does start to come alive a little bit. And I think the back and forth actually favors the 7 and the hook in this game. So I anticipate lots of points to be scored, but I don't anticipate Arizona being shut out. This is what they do really well. They're not going to bear down and do their thing on defense against Kansas State at home, but 7 on the hook. Give me Arizona as well on the road. That is one for me. Daniel, I'm going to go to one, and I'm just going to be – it's in the SEC. This is not my stone cold lock. I'm going to save it a little later. But I'm going to tell you this. 2 SEC teams. Okay. One team coached by a gentleman that every time he goes on the road outside of his home stadium, he struggles to score points and make meaningful impact in a game and has lots of losses on the road, where otherwise Baton Rouge is a very comfortable place for old Kelly and LSU. They're going to South Carolina. South Carolina
college game day pick here.
It's college game. South Carolina showed up against Kentucky, which we're going to see what that actually means or doesn't mean. But a road win in the SEC, if you're a Kirby Smart fan, he says that's a dang good win. It's a road in the SEC.
Sure.
I'm telling you right now, he respects Shane Beamer once more for that. Doesn't matter what Kentucky says or does. LSU's not good on the road and doesn't know how to run the dang gum football. Daniel?
Yeah.
Give me the Gamecocks.
You can't be locking up South Carolina.
I'm locking up South Carolina. Daniel, this is what happens. When you've been zigging for a while.
I kept waiting for you to just I kept waiting for you to.
You've been zigging for a while. You need to zag. This is a popular pick by people, but I think at home getting points, LSU does not do well on the road. Kelly does not do well coaching outside of Baton Rouge. They're not a talented team. They don't know how to use Perkins at linebacker. I think they're soft.
Perkins is the most overrated player, maybe in the last 10 years of college football.
It's ridiculous.
He's never done anything, and yet he gets all the hype. That's a wild pick by you. I looked at that game hard, and I couldn't make myself bet on LSU, but there's no way. What would this line? I am very curious what this line was before last week. It had to have been LSU because LSU struggled with Nichols last week.
Yep.
And South Carolina gets a win in Kentucky. This line was probably LSU minus 12 or 13 last week.
I'm still getting a touchdown at home, Dan. It doesn't matter what the reaction from that game was. I'm still getting a touchdown at home.
All right, you're taking South Carolina.
I'm
plus
zagging.
The 7. All right, I'm going to go to another SEC team. Speaking of the Texas State Bobcats, they laid the wood to the UTSA Roadrunners last week. I'm talking about beat them like a drum. UTSA this week turns right around, whoopsies, and travels to Austin.
Catches
take on Old Sark and Quinn Ewers and the chainsaw that is the Texas Longhorns.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't believe in too many principles. Okay, I wouldn't say I'm a man of many principles.
Just a few.
But I do try to abide by the principles that I do believe in. In college football, things are never as bad as they seem, and they're never as good as they seem.
Also,
this is a perfect example. UTSA is actually a talented group of 5 football team. They're a good football team.
Ladies and gentlemen, here we go.
Texas just beat the crap out of the quote-unquote defending champs. And may I remind you that Connor Stallions was not on the sidelines. And so can we really even call them the defending champs?
By the way, I'm glad this all happened for Michigan, man. I really am, because you'll never be able to come back to the adult table and speak again. So
Michigan
happy.
man of integrity. UTSA is catching 35.5 points. I'm getting 35.5 points, Clint, and I want them. I want every single one of them. Give them to me. Give me the Roadrunners. Now, Cade McCown is not a very good quarterback.
No, he's not.
He's not. Okay, I get that. I'm taking a not good quarterback against a team that has 2 really good quarterbacks. I know that Texas's backups are going to come in and keep scoring. But I think UTSA is going to score. And I think this is actually like a game where you could look up in the second quarter, and this could be like a 3-point game.
This has, by the way, this bet, I like this bet. I don't have this bet. I like the bet because this is a hunting for a bet based upon principles, like the man said. This is not to do with the teams. This is not to do with anything else. Yeah. You just go hunting looking.
It's just a straight up letdown spot.
After Michigan on the road, big win, coming home. You kind of
what's coming up? Is it the Red River? Oh, we got the Red River coming up? Oh, you think Texas is going to be looking ahead to the Red River?
Y'all get on this. I'm going to go to talk about Red River next week. Mm-hmm. Talk about a couple of big games happening this week that are Civil War is happening already.
The Apple Cup is happening.
Apple Cup. Let's stick right at the Apple Cup, Daniel, shall we?
Here we go.
Washington is bad.
Like they are.
Very, very, very bad. Depleted.
Did they lose anybody off last year's team?
Nobody's there. Guys,
no. Everyone. They lost everyone.
It's a rivalry game. They're supposed to be the better team. Washington State's okay this year, Daniel. Like, they're just fine. And I'm catching points with Washington State.
On shoulder, Clint. This is the ultimate chip on your shoulder game. Washington State wants nothing more than to beat Washington in this spot.
Give me Washington State Cougars plus 4.5 in the Apple Cup, Daniel.
I don't hate it. I can't wait to be watching Civil War and Apple Cup both coming on at both in the afternoon time slot.
Kidding me? This is fantastic.
It's a great window. By the way, it's a great week to be playing the night game. Because there's no competition for Georgia in the night window. I mean, we're missing Dion get beat by Colorado State. Like that's the only thing that like we're really missing.
We need to do a whole episode on Dion. We haven't even talked about that fool. My gosh.
But yeah, that's really it. Because all the great games are at 11 Central and 2:30 Central. Like that's where all the good action is. All right, we'll be back. We got more locks right after these.
But Daniel, these are in fact FanDuel, FanDuel.com, fantastic place. You and I love them.
What would you even do at FanDuel, Clint? I don't even know.
All these locks that we're doing, we're making our chest of treasures, our little surplus of funds that are going to be used later on. We go to FanDuel.com. They're the official Locked On Sports, Locked On Podcast, Locked On Bulldogs Sportsbook. We love them. You should love them too. Head over there right now. And if you do a $5 bet, our folks over at FanDuel, FanDuel.com, you put a $5 bet down. Guess what? You get weeks worth of NFL Sunday Ticket free straight to you. All you got to have is YouTube TV, YouTube subscription, and a valid credit card. You can cancel anytime. You get 4 weeks. This is only good for a couple more weeks. So get into the action right now. FanDuel.com, $5 bet. You get free NFL Sunday Ticket, which if I know anything about the NFL, they want to charge you just $1 bazillion to do.
Let me spoil it for you. It's more than $5. It's a lot more. So even if your bet loses,
do you see what we're saying?
You're getting a great deal. But if your bet wins, you actually are getting paid to watch NFL Sunday Ticket for free.
This is fantastic.
That seems fine.
Go to FanDuel.com. Make every moment more. FanDuel.com.
All right, Clint, I got 2 more. How many you got loaded up in the hopper there for the people?
I got 2 more, Daniel. I got
2 more. All right, I'm going to go. Do both of my bets involve an SEC team? No.
I got one.
I got one more. I got one more that involves an SEC team. Okay. Let me just ask a question.
These are simple.
Forget the opponent. Forget about who the opponent is.
It's erroneous.
Okay. Should Florida State be favored by 6.5 points over anyone? Anyone, Clint?
You name the team.
The name of a team. Should the Florida State Seminoles be favored by 6.5 points over anyone? Have we not watched any of the football yet?
I'm not exaggerating, guys. I legitimately, the words that are about to come out, I know what they are, and I stand behind them. I would rather take any other quarterback in college football other than DJ Uiagalelei. You
Brock
give me
Vandagriff, step right up.
I know what he can run.
Let me ask you this. Let me push this envelope on you.
Okay.
Peyton Thorne.
Oh no.
No.
He is faster than DJ. So yeah.
But he throws the ball to the other team a lot. Okay.
True story.
Yeah. Okay.
You all thought
Memphis is Memphis is a pretty good football team. That's the thing, is we're not even talking about some trash football team. Memphis 2-0, a pretty good football team. Like Memphis beat a talented Troy team in week 1, destroyed North Alabama in week 2. They are a decent football team. Another one of these group of 5 teams that if you poll the Memphis locker room, Memphis thinks they have a shot to make the college football playoff. One of these group of 5 teams is going to make the college football playoff. Hey, guess what? I know that it's not going to be a marquee win anymore because Florida State, again, is in shambles. But if you beat the Florida State Seminoles, then that's still a feather in your resume cap going into the end of the season if you are the Memphis Tigers. So I wouldn't mind sprinkling a little bit on that money line, Clint. But if you're going to give me dang near 7 points with Memphis against Florida State, I'm going to take every single one of them, Clint. Give me the Memphis Tigers. Florida State shouldn't be favored over anybody.
Just really quick, 2 games, 270 yards rushing from Memphis. The running backs are averaging 6.3 yards, 5.5 yards per carry,
I'm sorry. Is that Florida State defensive line susceptible to the run, Clint? Okay. No. Are they as soft as just cheap bathroom tissue? Like, is that what we're dealing with in the middle of that defensive line?
They are as soft as the underbelly of Florida's pride, Daniel.
Memphis going to run straight through them.
Memphis does offense well. Guys, that's what they do.
Yeah. Guess who doesn't do offense well?
There it is. See, there it is.
Where are we going, Clint?
Yeah. We mentioned them once already in this podcast, and we're going to mention the green wave of Tulane back to the green wave. Guys, Oklahoma is fraudulent.
I looked at this game long and hard.
I'm telling you, look, this seems to me to be an overreaction in just the name of Oklahoma, that the spread isn't less than this. Tulane can play some ball, y'all. They can pitch it around the yard. We've seen them. They're talk about another group of 5 teams that think they're going to make the playoff. They're vying for this spot. A couple of years ago, showed out in a bowl game. They have some pride. The program's on the upswing. Green Wave can do some things, and they're catching 13.5 against Oklahoma, who couldn't put to bed anybody. I don't know what the heck the coaching.
Houston last week.
Houston Cougars. Houston's a good team too. No shade there, but
they're not.
Okay, well, are they, Daniel? Are they comparable to Tulane?
Are they better than Florida State? Yes, they are. Houston Cougars are better than Florida State.
Let's move on. Are they comparable to Tulane, Daniel? Houston and Tulane, they in the same category, same tier?
Tulane's probably better than Houston.
Thank you. Point made. 13.5. Give me Tulane.
I'm not going to lie to you, Clint. I could not bring myself to pull the trigger. But what I was looking at in this game was the other side. I was looking at the bounce back for Oklahoma, the letdown. Tulane had that game won in Kansas State.
Oh my
God.
God.
Was their Super Bowl. Like, that was their ticket to the college football playoff, and they lost it. Now they got another shot against Oklahoma, which is awesome. But it feels like a bit of a letdown for Tulane. It feels like a bit of a bounce back for Oklahoma, but I couldn't pull the trigger. I don't hate your side. I was looking at the other one. I don't want to keep talking about Florida State, but I am. Boston College made Florida State look like a JV team.
Here's my log. Let's see if I throw it on.
Yeah. Get Boston College plus 17. Boston College going to Columbia, Missouri against Eli Drinkovitz.
Yeah.
That Missouri team's got one coming. I'm just here to tell you that Missouri team isn't a top 10 team. They're not a top 10 team. They're just not.
No.
All the people that are like, it's ridiculous that there's so many SEC teams ranked in the top 10 are right. All the people beating their chest about the SEC, like,
chill,
are probably Florida fans, to be honest, like, because they need something to feel good about themselves. Missouri's not a top 10 team. They are not one of the 10 best teams in college football.
Nope.
They have good players. They are well coached. They will probably win this game.
Yeah.
But Thomas Castellanos,
he's
really good, y'all. Like,
he's a dude at quarterback.
Boston College is going to score points in this game. They are absolutely going to score points in this game. 17? Give me BC.
Throw it on the fire. Give me BC, Boston College. I think here's the deal. I think that that fits old head ball coach real well, Boston College. He has his dream job right now. Couldn't hack it anywhere else, but he's up in New England again. This is it. This is his lifetime, and he has pride in this. The team has pride. They fight hard. I saw some fundamental football, and that's what you do when you go on the road against Missouri, play fundamental football, and you break a couple with good running attack and good quarterback play. You're going to be fine. 17 points is too many points. Throw it on the fire. I'm with you, BC, on this as well. O'Brien just over there cackling to himself. He's getting paid to coach. He's going to be fine, y'all. He's so happy. This is Locked On Bulldogs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. He is Daniel. I am Clint. We'll be back tomorrow talking all things Kentucky with a Kentucky insider giving us insight to the game. We'll see you guys then.
See ya.